Good morning, councillors, and welcome to the City Infrastructure Committee meeting dated the 6th of the 8th. I declare this meeting now open at 10 o'clock. I'd like to begin today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land which we are gathered and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We'll move on to attendances and leave of absence. We have one leave of absence from Councillor Mindy Russell. Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Stemp, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Hall. I now open the floor to vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. It's been carried unanimously. We'll move on to the confirmation of previous committee meeting minutes. There is now a motion displayed on the screen to confirm the minutes. That the minutes of the Infrastructure Committee that was held on the 9th of July be confirmed. Do I have a mover for the motion? Councillor Hall. Do I have a seconder? Mayor Raven. Do any councillors wish to speak to the motion? Being none, I now open the floor to vote. All those in favour? It's been carried unanimously. I now move on to the declarations of conflict of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest today? There being none, we'll move straight into reports. We've only got the one report today. The report is a confidential report, a net zero solution for August 2024. Do any councillors wish to move into confidential for the report? Being none, it's great to have everyone's questions answered prior. So we'll move straight on to the voting. So do I have a mover? Do you want to talk to the report at all?
Through the chair, I would like to make a small mention, if that's
Righto,
possible.
you've got to have a small mention, mate.
Thank you. See, we did all that work. I just wanted to give councillors a quick update. Obviously, we discussed a number of the initiatives associated with net zero in the report. In particular, there is an attachment regarding negotiations associated with the energy partnership. They have obviously continued and have progressed, and we are hoping, all things continuing to go well, to actually sign a framework agreement for that energy partnership and a energy supply agreement for that energy partnership as soon as potentially next Friday. So I just wanted to give councillors that update so that you're aware of the latest developments.
Definitely worth you having a chat there, Paul. Any councillors like to have any questions after hearing that? Reminding we're in confidential. Oh, we're not in confidential, so there being none. Do I have a mover for the motion that's on the board? Mayor Raven. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Murphy. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. That being the only agenda item, this now concludes the agenda for today. Do any councillors have general business for Mr. Darryl Riley? We'll go with Councillor Wilcox first.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Riley. Just wondering from the GB in Ordinary Council if you have dates for the Greenbank Road and the Teviot start dates. Sorry, Greenbank Road I didn't ask in GB, but it has not started yet, and the notification of work said that it would start end of July, and I'm still waiting on that one. So wondering if you have start dates for both, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Councillor. So both those projects are well advanced. They've been awarded to contractors who effectively now have access to those sites. Both of those projects are currently slated for commencement in late August, so approximately 2 weeks from now. The project on Teviot Road, there will be correspondence. We're planning the project notifications for late this week, with potentially the community receiving those early next week, advising of the impending works, and we have scheduled in for VMS signage on that project for later this week as well, to give indications around that. The project itself, just to give some context on Teviot, which is the intersection of Leanne and Teviot Road, will take about 9 months. It will be finished somewhere around mid next year. For the Greenbank works, they're actually works which council received funding for under the REAPA arrangements. Similarly, we've already awarded that contract as well. The contractor has possession of the site with an intention to commence there in about 2 weeks' time as well.
With the VMS board on Greenbank Road, could you see if you could get it updated with a start date on it for me, please? I'm not sure what messaging's on it currently, just with the notification of works, it actually said end of July. So if we could get that updated and get it updated onto our website, that would be great, please.
Sorry, my apologies. I didn't catch whether you said Teviot or Greenbank.
That one was
It's
the Greenbank with, because they've
Yep.
actually already got their VMS boards up and that sort of thing.
Yep, lovely.
Another
Okay.
question for you, because I'm not sure that Stephen Bell is here. The rapid response pothole team, just wondering if that team has started and how they're going. If I could get an update, if others wanted to get an update on that sort of thing, because I'm not sure it's happening at my neck of the woods and that sort of thing.
Thank you. I can take that on notice and we can provide you some advice in regards to that. Yes.
Happy, Councillor Wilcox? Councillor Lane, did you have your hand up, or was it a question on Councillor Wilcox or to Darryl? Do you happy to do your GB last? Councillor Lane?
Thanks very much to you, Mr. Chair. Darryl, just a quick question. Obviously, we've had a couple of drops of rain and, more could come quite quickly. Can you just explain why the roads team put those nets around the drain pipes that divert water away from the drains? Because that's a question I often get asked.
Can I come and, I guess, gain some more information around that? I'm not fully across the
So on
nets
a
in
number
question.
of, on a number of drains in newly done drainage areas, there are these mesh netting looking things. They look like straw actually, and they're placed over and around the drains, the newly installed drains, and it actually diverts water away from the drains into other areas rather than brings them in. I assumed it was to catch debris, but residents are curious, so.
I'd be more than happy to come and have a talk to you. If I was speculating, it sounds like sediment control measures which we actually place on stormwater pits so that during construction, when we have a high sediment load, when all the area is exposed, that we don't deposit that into either waterways or into underground drainage. But I'd be more than happy to come and have a talk to you and run through that with you.
Yep, I don't need the chat. I just, if you can send
Okay.
me some material that I can put up, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Happy, Councillor Lane? Councillor Bradley, did you have your hand up? Was that a question or you have GB?
Both. Thank you. Through the chair. Just wondering if I could be informed what's going on with Underwood Road bus turnaround. I haven't heard anything for a very, very long time, and I have no concept of when it's starting, is it starting, anything. Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we can certainly provide you information on that.
Councillor Harriman, you have some GB, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today I raise a GB that's relevant to Flinders-Here Riverside Park in Logan Reserve. Now, the context of Flinders-Here Riverside Park is that it's a pretty new, large park in Logan Reserve in Division 8. The history of it is it was developed as a part of a development application, and it has some great facilities, but there's an undercurrent of risk. And that's because right next to Flinders-Here Park, there's a road that enters next to the park and ends. When you drive through, it feels like the road is a part of the park, but technically, according to the property boundaries, it's not. It's a road reserve, and as such, public access is expected. Now, the reason why I bring up a GB today is because residents have contacted me and council saying that they're experiencing some antisocial behaviour and hooning on that road that borders Flinders-Here Park, and they want to see something done about it. In fact, last year, 201 petitioners petitioned council requesting that council installs a gate on Flinders-Here Park to regulate vehicle access. Now, I've consulted with council officers and received a few memos. Because of the lay of the land of that park and the road technically not being a part of the park, it requires some further investigation to see how can a gate or options to control access be installed. The complexity surrounds this because unlike parks like Underwood Park or Riverdale Park, that road is not technically a part of the park. Therefore, this general business motion aims to receive some information about if installing a gate is feasible and what is the process associated with that. The community's already identified the funding source for this gate if it was possible, Division 8 local infrastructure funding. I think that's a fair enough idea. So really it's just about the technicalities of how we can accomplish that process. I'll read out the motion for clarity. Quote, that the Director of Transport Services be requested to present a report to a future City Infrastructure Committee on the process, viability and options available to control access on the road neighbouring Flinders-Here Riverside Park in Logan Reserve. I'm happy to move this when appropriate. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Jeremiah, and from just credit to you too, the way you've been in touch with staff the whole way through the process. You've got opinions from the director and you've done everything right. I think you haven't just dropped it. I think you've done it very professionally, and I think you'll get a good outcome from it. Anyone want to speak? Questions?
I'm happy to second it.
Mayor Raven?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is for Daryl. Daryl, so in Marsden at the end of Melissa Street, which is not part of JJ Smith Park, there is a car park that has a gate across it on a public road. There was no report to council required to do that. It was just something that Parks organised. Is there a reason why Councillor Jeremiah couldn't just do that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, I would need to investigate the circumstances surrounding the location which you're talking about. I'm not aware of those at this point in time.
Because the park there has the same problem that Councillor Jeremiah is talking about, except it has a car park that was getting donuts done in it. So that gate is opened every morning when the park is open and closed again. That gate actually prevents access to people's homes at night. So it's one step further to being a real road because it's got houses on it with letterboxes and things like that. So I'm just surprised that I understand why Councillor Jeremiah is bringing it up because he found no other way to achieve his outcome. But it just feels like we don't necessarily need a report to committee when there's already a working example, a precedent, if you like, in the city where it's been done before to achieve the outcomes that Councillor Jeremiah wants, which is people not accessing the road, his community wants, which is people not accessing the road after hours and just accessing it for proper park use, appropriate park use.
We can certainly look at that location to feed that discussion and the information that we provide. Yes.
Okay.
Happy, Mr. Mayor? No more questions? Councillor Jeremiah has moved the motion. Councillor Bradley has seconded the motion. I now open the floor to vote. It has been passed unanimously. Does the Director, Mr. Daryl Riley, have any GB for the councillors?
No, I don't have GB today.
There being none, I declare that the City Infrastructure meeting on the 6th of the 8th concluded at 10:13. And the City Governance with the wonderful Karen Murphy, 10:23. Thank you.